In the mix with the Vibe Show. 97.9. Catch a vibe.
Vibe Show 97.9. Man, we in the mix heavy, bringing y'all nothing but those exclusive interviews. Y'all already know how we do it. Pray everybody had a blessed day today, because I had a blessed day. You know what I mean? I just try to look at things from a more positive perspective. And I mean, I love what I do. So it's really not work to me. It's just a blessing to be in the position that I'm in, man, to be able to talk to all of these amazing people that's actually gracing the Vibe Show brand and the Vibe Show platform. So it's definitely an honor. Shout out to everybody that's on the live check-in right now. Jacqueline Yvette, Public Relations, Lisa Nichols, Vibe Show Casper right now on the check-in. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for the early check-in. Tonight, though, we have a real treat tonight. I know I say that, and we just try to keep the bar high, but we really got a treat for y'all tonight, man. I'm talking about welcoming to the show. These two brothers here have really been putting in the work. You know, we don't just bring anybody on this show. These guys, though, man, have really been putting in the work, producing, songwriting, you know, for numerous of artists. Really putting in the work, man, and it's definitely an honor to have these brothers on the show. Welcoming to the show, though, songwriters, producers, Sir Analog and Sir Digital, 80 Empire. Let's get these brothers in here. What's up, brothers?
What's going on? Thank you for that introduction, man.
Hey, man, listen, it's only right. Like I said, you know, for me and the Vibe team, man, and the whole staff, we just want to thank you guys for blessing the platform, man, with y'all time. I know y'all always in the mix, making moves, doing things or whatever. So it's really an honor, man. Thank y'all so much for this.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us. Honor is ours, man. Yeah, honor is ours, truly.
Absolutely. Now, like I said, you know, for my listeners, man, who may not be familiar or may be familiar, they will be familiar after this interview, no doubt. You guys been really putting in a lot of work in this game or whatever. And I really, what's amazing to me though is the sound is totally different. I feel like you guys have your own sound, but I want to go back, you know, a little bit to get the listeners to be able to tap in, man, with you guys and kind of get a little bit of the history. So has it always been hip hop and music for you guys? Like what really inspired you guys to want to take the music and the art path?
I think with us, man, since we were little kids, you know, shout out to our parents, man. We call our parents Gangster P and Jabu, but really, yeah, man, they were our biggest inspiration, still are, because as kids, you know, I mean, they're Italian immigrants who migrated to Toronto, and we didn't have a lot of Italian music other than opera in the house. My parents were fans of Black music. You know, our parents were fans of Black music, African-American music. So the house, our soundtrack to our youth, even though that's not our generation, they filled our ears in the house with the record, like Stax Records, Motown, all the funk, and then, you know, all the hip hop when rap started. So really, James Brown, till today, James Brown is still probably one of our biggest influences. So
wait,
yeah, James Brown's
behind here somewhere.
Yeah, you can't see it.
That's him right there. Yeah.
So that's still, you know, our biggest influence, and that just, you know. And then our dad was a hairstylist. He used to take us to this Jamaican spot. Toronto has an area called Eglinton Avenue West, right off Allen Road, and it's a real West Indian or Caribbean neighborhood. And there was this lady called Monica who owned a record store, but it was also, you know, you can get your hair products and weaves and all that. So my dad would go and buy hair products,
and you could get like a Caribbean food, like beef patty. So our dad would pick up the latest, you know, soul or funk records,
and then calypso and reggae.
Yeah, calypso and reggae, because especially Toronto was heavily influenced with
Caribbean culture.
Yeah. And he would grab records and get us like a beef patty to eat, and then, you know, we'd go home and listen to these records. But you know, it was kind of like our
training.
Our training.
Subconsciously, that was our musical and education and introduction into pursuing this into a full-time thing.
Right. Now, that makes sense right there. So you guys really, I consider you guys, you know, bloodline with this, man. You know what I mean? Coming up with parents that basically, you know, kind of had you guys exposed to music at a very young age, which I think is super, super dope. Now, you know, with having a love and passion, you know, for soul music and hip hop as well as house, which kind of explains the combination of everything that I've been hearing thus far. You guys, you know, considered still, and I think you may feel that way, like you still are kind of in an underdog category.
Absolutely.
With you know, with that being said, you know, with all of the grind and still, because a lot of people, you know, when in that category or whatever, you know, may have given up at this point, but you guys seem to find a way to break through still, even being in the underdog lane of things or whatever. Can you explain to me, you know, what inspired you guys to not be so focused on the positioning of you know, where let's just say the masses may rate you guys or view y'all? What made you guys still have that drive and motivation to still want to break through?
That's a great question. I have to say, I'm not just saying that. That's probably one of the best questions we've been asked. Yeah, straight up. Like, we're like roaches. I'm being, and I don't, maybe that's a silly analogy, but you know, roaches, come hell or high water, there could be a nuclear war. A roach is going to still.
I'm going to sound more like a lion. I don't know.
No, but you know, I'm trying to be comical.
Yeah,
comical relief, but no, really, like, you know, we chose to name our indie label Gladiator Records. Gladiators were slaves back in ancient Roman times, you know, and if a gladiator won enough bouts, enough fights, the slave master would come and say to the gladiator, listen, you've earned your freedom. So we feel like still, you know, we have a new song coming out in March with Slain, and I drop a verse and I say I'm a rookie and a vet. That's a promise and a threat. And we're rookies and we're vets. And it's the hunger. Like you said earlier, we were talking off camera, you know, we are students of this, you know, we love this, you know, whether we're making $1 million or $10, we will do this to the casket drop. That we have it saying gladiator to the casket drop.
And I think too, it's like, I would rather take the longer road to get to a certain level of what people deem success, even if it's not that, you know, that pop sensation. Right. I don't care for that. It's more of knowing that when it's all said and done, that I could say we put out great music. We inspired even, you know, 5 people, right. But put out quality music. And I think,
and we can look at ourselves in the mirror. We've got kids, we've got families, you know, and we've like we have a publishing deal with Universal and yada yada. We've had a lot of opportunities, but back in the day, to move to Italy, to move to LA, and we've always said, nah, man. But like, you know, we don't want to. Like, already, my oldest daughter's 14, you know, so she really, all the kids get it. Even though there's we have 4 kids collectively together, but my 14-year-old really get, even Vanessa's 10, but like, and my 12-year-old, but it's like, we feel good that like we were there raising our children, you know, we're still raising them. And so,
and we're still able to do this,
you
know? Yeah. Listen, I've earned these bags, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's what it's about. It's about, you know, kind of being able to juggle this. And I think we often, you know, in today, like 2021 and this kind of, and it doesn't matter what age, I think it's very easy for people to quit, very easy for people to get a few roadblocks and to call it a day. And, you know, you can't live your life like that. You gotta, it's better to go and say, man, at least I gave it your all. I gave it all. Whatever it is, whether you're a painter, an actor, whether you want to do a regular date, like a job that, you know, you're not accustomed to doing. You know, it's better to 5 years from now to go, at least I'd rather be the oh well guy than the what if guy.
But we've had good role models.
Right?
We've had good role models around us. Like we come from a family of fighters. Coming from when our dad came here, he was 16, didn't know the language. He had all older brothers and sisters. My dad, as a 15-year-old, was paying a mortgage because my dad, they were so dirt poor in Italy. My dad, that he slept with like 6 or 7 brothers and sisters in one bed, and if one of them pissed on the other, they're like, at least it's warm. At least piss
when
is
it was
warm.
cold, it was like
at least piss is warm. So when our dad came here, he literally, like, him and his older brother, who was 18, his second youngest brother, he paid for the mortgage, and so like we had role models where
it's teaching work ethic.
My dad had a 16-year-old paying a mortgage. Like most of it, just like, whatever on their iPads. My dad's paying a mortgage. So these are the teachers we had around us,
Right. Now, it's interesting that you guys say that. And I for one really value and appreciate that, because I think that a lot of the younger artists, in a way, they don't really embody that type of attitude and approach towards the game, which I think that kind of hinders a lot of their careers, because they coming in, kind of egotistical, and I get it. I get the cockiness. I get that. You know what I mean? This is a tough business. This entertainment business is not easy. You can't be soft in this business. But I like the way you guys are going through the necessary steps, pacing it, embracing all of the opportunities when they do arrive, but at the same time, not looking for handouts, really building it from the ground up. So I definitely appreciate that. Now, with you two being brothers, I would like to know, interesting enough, that, and I think that it's super dope that you guys went with those particular stage names. Can each one of you guys break down why you chose to go with those particular stage names?
Sure. Like the name. Well, first, the name 80 Empire is kind of, our background of Italian. Our mom is from outside of Rome, so Empire, Roman Empire, and then the 80 kind of, we did it where it's the number 80, but it also could be AD, so analog digital. So me, I'm the digital guy because I love, like, I'm the physical producer out of the two. I run the studio. If I turn the laptop around, you see the everything over on this side. It's my little DJ rig back here. But I kind of run all the actual equipment and do all the physical production, where Adrian's analog, and he's the voice. He's the writing guy. He comes in with all the singing and the rapping and kind of putting that together.
Luke likes watching Star Wars. I like watching Shaft. And listen, like I'll be walking around, Freddy's dead. I'll be listening to Curtis Mayfield. So does my brother, but he's more listening. Oh, did you watch the new Mandalorian? And I'm like, yo, man, I'm listening to Curtis Mayfield.
No, he's lying. He's watching Antique Roadshow.
Man, I love y'all guys.
Right? But
that's crazy.
But you know what? That's kind of how it's cool in being brothers. Like, we're able to kind of, like, sometimes I'll have a beat that I'm excited about, and he'll come in and I know his face when he's not feeling it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or he'll go, he's singing something, I'm like, I don't know, maybe if you, he'll know. So it's a good dynamic. And we're brothers, and you know what? We can't punch anybody else out. So at least we can tell each other off if we're frustrated.
Right? And we could play different roles at different times.
Yeah.
With different people, but even on stage, we've had scenarios where, like, equipment is broken down or this and that, and we both know how to react. Where, like, the audience might not know, they might think, oh shit, man, that was great, but we know what really happened. And backstage after, we'll be like, yo, man, we just narrowly escaped that without people seeing, and that could have been a catastrophe. But again, it's being able to read each other,
And that goes back to your point about newer artists in that a lot of artists today that are maybe more popular artists are born from the studio and not from the live side. So that's why a lot of people, when you hear them singing or rapping or doing whatever on stage, it's not what you're hearing, because the trickery of effects and studio and all these things, it's great, but you know, you got to be able to also, if you want a long career, you also got to be able to pull that off on stage and be able to do your song, whether you're rapping or singing, be able to do it with a guitar or a piano or just break down rejection, get down to the basics
and take rejection and don't let it beat you up. Like I remember we were on a,
well, if we quit every time we had a rejection, we would have quit.
We've been told we're too young, then we're too old, then we're too Italian, we're too black, and we're not even black. You know, like we've been told, man, y'all are too black. But black, like we grew up with black music, but then you're too white, or you're not black enough, or you're not white enough. But so if you take all of that stuff and let it pull you down, this game is designed. This is like Mad Max and Thunderdome. You know, this is like Mike Tyson in his prime. Mike Tyson is the record industry, and he's constantly beating on your face. If you take every punch and take it personally and never get back up, then you know what? Go do something else. Go do something where people are just going to compliment. Oh, that's great, son. This business is not like that. You got to take it on the chin, like an adult, and keep moving, man. This is a train. Keep going. Get to where you got to get.
Right now, I think that's dope. You know, because like I could feel the energy, and it really connects, and I can understand why you guys, you're getting a lot of the love that you're getting, because I feel like you guys are also reciprocating that energy back out there to the world, and you guys are approachable, and which creating your sound, was that always the route that you guys wanted to go? Because I feel like you guys' sound is different. Like I said, it's like a collaboration of with having access growing up to hearing a lot of the older music. I hear all of that in you guys' music, as well as some of the new. So I feel like it's really a good combination of what you guys putting together, which puts you guys in your own lane, which is dope. Now, when it comes down to creating these sounds and wanting to create your own sound, can we go over a little bit of the process when it comes down to that?
Yeah, I think for the production side, I'll speak on that, and then Adrian could speak on the singing and rap stuff. I'm always like, you could add trap, for instance. If I use trap as a new, it's a newer hip hop style that's been, you could do jazz chords on a trap beat.
Mm-hmm.
You can add those cool soulful melodies and a live bass, but instead of on a boom bap drum, which a lot of the records on this project have that boom bap element, but you can still add those things that you've studied into these newer quote unquote styles. Right. You don't have to fit a certain. Not every record has to have an 808. And even though that's cool, why not add a live bass player going?
Right.
Why not have that? And why not have a saxophone player on it? I think the cool thing about music, if I say the cool thing about music nowadays, independently, no one's telling you, nobody in a suit sitting in a boardroom is telling us what they deem as pop, a hit, or this and that. And that's the cool thing why a lot of these labels are kind of clamoring, going, independents are they're ruling the day. They're paving their way without the quote unquote big shot sitting there going, I ain't feeling that. Well, it doesn't matter what you feel. Let the world, let you guys decide. Let the
absolutely. And I think and back to like the curation, because we like to think like we curated a sound for this album, and we're continuing to curate a sound where it's like elements of our youth, elements of our parents' youth, elements of past, present, and future. And it's, every era has got nostalgic and melancholy sounds. Like, Drake has been on the scene for the past, let's say 10 years. Been popular, has held his position for the past 10 years. But even Drake has got different sounds within his 10-year reign as champ. So if you go back 10 years ago, it's a lot different than now. you know, even though he's always done melodies and stuff. So, you know, it's so even with us, what we're doing is we're taking all the sounds that we like, past, present, future, all the feelings that like for Take It Back. You know, with shout out to Crooked, to King Crooked, shout out to our girl Nicole Monet and Ray. You know, we've always loved the West Coast. We've been to California. We love that kind of cruising culture. You know, the cars down. Take a trip to 93, like that kind of just and we create that. Yo, man, it's just like the way when you were a kid and you watch BET Jams or The Box and you're seeing DOC with Dr. Dre, even though this is a different record, it's more chill, but we're like, yo, we wanted to give, and in fact, that was our vision for the video, but then COVID hit. We were going to go down there
and shoot the video,
get a 6'4", and us singing the chorus, you know, backyard party, the slow-mo, people like this, us slow-mo walking through the party.
See, that's what I'm saying. See, I knew it was something because, you know, I was connecting with you guys' music. You know what I'm saying? But having you guys on the show, I'm falling more in love with the personalities because, like, I'm telling you, the passion. I can just feel the energy and the passion, how passionate you guys are, you know, with creating these records and how much that, you know, you want to impact and restore the feeling with, you know, because like, I'm with you, man. Like, you know, it's just like when, like, you know, some of the names that you just mentioned, you know, you can go back right now and check out some of them videos or listen to some of that old music or whatever. And that vibe, it makes you feel a certain type of way. Absolutely. And I feel like that's how you guys' music is resonating right now because it hit me right out the gate. I mean, I'm from that era, you know what I mean? So it's gotta be something that I could feel that's gonna make me feel a certain type of way. And you guys are accomplishing that. Now, already. Now in 2015, you guys garnered a certified platinum plaque for a song you guys wrote and produced for MCA Universal with the artist name Darian. What is it?
Darian Espanto.
Yeah. Now, how did and congratulations on that because that's a huge accomplishment. But at the same time, we know in this business, accomplishing something that huge like that had to have opened up some doors for you guys. So I would like to know, what did that feel like to accomplish something like that with all of the things that you guys and the groundwork you've been putting in? What did that feel like and what doors opened up for you guys at that point?
Well, I think for us with that, you know, it just kind of, again, like we were saying earlier, you don't really need the love of the mainstream, but getting an accomplishment like that, getting a plaque, it's just kind of, it's that, you know, that vision board and that check. But what it's done for us, it's made us hungrier, you know, and we want that again, but we want to get that with the hip hop stuff. Like we love that song. And shout out to Darren. We met Darren on a show called The Next Star, which was like a Canadian version of a Nickelodeon American Idol for young kids, if that makes sense. And Darren, like right away, we're like, out of all the contestants,
he was amazing.
He was amazing. You know, Darren had that soul. And so my brother and I, like with the producers of the show, we're like, yo, we got to work with them. So we worked with them. He came second runner up on the show, but then he went to go get this record deal with MCA Universal. And then we gave him that song. And then funny enough, that song was supposed to be for a Cinderella movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did it in mind of the Cinderella movie.
Carvin Winans, who's one of the Winan brothers.
Yeah. We did it with him.
Had this opportunity. He wrote a song, which then we demoed it. He wrote the lyrics and then I sang it for him. And then we wrote this song, you know, we ended up giving him some publishing because we're like, he brought us in. If it would have hit Disney, you know, he would have given us publishing on his song. So we gave him publishing, but we wrote and produced it entirety. I Believe in Me. And
then Darren, we sent it a few tracks to the label. And funny enough, Darren we were the first producers he ever worked with, the first time to ever record first writers and producers.
He's a mega star in the Philippines.
He went on the Philippines, The Voice Philippines, and he came in second, but then got a record deal, MCA Universal, and the rest
love
for him.
Their music, man.
They're
very
love
soul music there.
Yeah,
like the Filipino singers, man, they're so soulful. You know.
Yeah. So So it was cool, but like Adrian said, it actually made us hungrier.
And it makes people pay more attention to you. Maybe they look at an email a little, oh, what? Platinum? Oh,
that's what it is when you said like what doors it opened. I think it just opened more doors in ways of when we're sending out emails to people or sending DMs and whatnot, you know, adding multi-platinum producer to your, not to use, you know, names on a like this, that, you know, but that's our business, right? We have to promote ourselves. That's how we all succeed, right? If you don't promote the Vibe Show, you know, how are people going to know what a great show is? Right?
Absolutely.
So, right.
That's important. It's important.
Right?
And we can't downplay it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's true. It's a huge accomplishment, and it's something that I'm proud to see that you guys have accomplished in the game, because it's only inspiration for other inspiring artists to see that, you know, all of that comes along with the game. You know what I mean? Like, you know, restoring the feeling, creating a fan base, connecting with your fans, seeing people vibe out to your music and stuff like that. You know, that's what I know you guys are doing it for. But along the way, the hard work, it doesn't hurt to garner those plaques and those accomplishments that comes along with the game as well. So I'm definitely proud of you guys, and it's definitely a huge milestone in you guys' resume and your career. Now, with writing for others, you know, as well, that you guys have also, you're doing that as well and accomplishing a lot of things with that as well. But I would like to talk about that process with writing for others or whatever, just for other people. Like I said, I always try to educate my listeners and anybody who's an inspiring artist or thinking about getting into the entertainment business or whatever, because that's a check itself as well. With you might not have the look, you might not, you know, want to be out front or whatever, but it's it's a hell of a lot of money that's being made on the writing scene. So can we kind of educate our listeners on the writing process and how profitable it can be?
Absolutely. I think it's, you know, what's great about my brother, and not to toot his horn for him, but as the writer, you know, it's kind of like Adrian uses the analogy like Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese is not a gangster, but he's able to tell the stories of these gangsters, whether fictional or, you know, based off of true events and things like that. So what's great about doing some of these records, even some of our own tracks, we might not necessarily, you could talk about struggle and talk about like Legacy, the title track of the LP.
Love that joint too, by the way.
Thank you. We haven't gone through what Conway has gone through in his struggle and being, you know, shot in the face and having to do with that. Or, you know, Balistic, shout out to Balistic, was on the track, who was in the feds for years, you know, for selling, you know, and hustling his thing that he had to do to make ends meet. So, but using words can help tell a story and a broader story. So using things like we do it for our legacy. Your legacy is you're creating you're doing this amazing show, and you want people to hear your show and to build your base and to not just play music, but to build, you know, talk about with artists and different stories and things. So that chorus, those words can influence so many different stories. It doesn't have to be like, I walked to the store and I bought some, okay, well, I don't want, you know.
And then I think writing for other people, because we write for females too.
Exactly.
I think it's trying to put yourself in that state of mind, you know, like and I think we're able to do that, I think, pretty decently, pretty well, because again, we've always had an appreciation and a love, and it stems back to our parents. They've always exposed us to so many different cultures and musics, experiences. We grew up in a house where it was love. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, Asian, straight, whatever, this or that. Like, there was never no bigotry or racism or discrimination in our house. So how does that help us to be good songwriters? Well, because because we've always had a love and appreciation for all people, if we get a call and go, yo, there's this girl, she's from the south side of Chicago, or yo, there's this girl, she's from the suburbs of Houston, Texas, we can kind of say, or a dude who's from Germany or from Italy, like we can kind of say, okay, and then we'll study it, we'll Google and go, yo, well, what's popping in that city? What's happening?
Yeah,
yo,
do your work.
Yo, we got friends in Houston. Okay, yo, I know in Houston to say what it do, or you know, or there's this slang from this, or there's this slang from this part of town. So it's like, yo, get that, and then people are like, yo, yeah, you guys from Canada, and you understood that, you put that shit in the song. So it's just like doing your homework. You said it earlier, student. You know, as much as we like to talk, we also know when to be quiet. We listen and digest what's happening. You know what I mean?
Well, we did a story. We did an amazing album. It hasn't been released yet. With an artist from Canada called Beatrice Love, and she's First Nation and
Indigenous
Cree,
and you know, raised on a reservation in Western Canada,
right? And her story is like a lot of women that are, you know, Indigenous, is quite tragic, and it's sad, but it shows how she's
and really quickly in her voice. If James Brown and Janis Joplin had a child, this is her voice. Like,
and we worked on that album for maybe 6 months, and I think every session we all cried, because what she's talking about is so true, but so like you couldn't even imagine it. It doesn't make sense. It's a Netflix film. All of the and I think a lot of it. I mean, there's a big thing not only in Canada but even in the United States. How many Indigenous women go missing, and the government doesn't care because for them it's a brown face. You know, when a young black girl goes missing or a young Indigenous girl goes missing, the facts are, the mainstream. But there's not a lack of care. You know, so but her story. But we had to again put ourselves. I mean, there's one song called "On the Road to Nowhere," and I basically wrote her a rap, and I'm talking about like systemic
racism, and like the government and like residential
but
schools.
It's her story.
But she goes, are you sure we should say this? I'm like,
right.
Like, you know what? We got it. Like
in 2020,
if white people feel uncomfortable, and we're white too, like we're European, our background, but we're like, if white people feel uncomfortable, tough. Other cultures have felt uncomfortable for a very long time. So if they feel uncomfortable listening to your experience and what you feel as an Indigenous woman, because we were writing off of what she was telling us and co-writing it with her. We're like, so if they feel uncomfortable, good. Then you did your job. So did we, because we don't want this to be pretty because your upbringing wasn't pretty. You saw a lot of evil shit that no kid, you wish no kid, I will let her tell her story down the road, but no kid, what she went through, she'd experience. And she experienced that shit as a result of systemic racism, as colonization of what the white governments have done, and like taking land from people, and then, okay, you know, you could still have your land here, sit on this little piece of land.
Adrian's going deep.
No, but it's true, man. It's true.
Right.
But to take it back.
To take it back.
Take it back tonight.
No, listen, we're very passionate about social justice.
Yeah.
It's important. And you just can't. We've been the recipients off of black culture, but we would be very irresponsible if we just said thanks. And then we just sat on the sidelines when things happen in the world where, you know, if we don't stand with our fellow Black brothers and sisters and Latino brothers and sisters and Indigenous brothers and sisters, then you know what? We're not really for the culture. If we're only benefit from it when it benefits us, but when it's all good times. But when shit hits the fan, we have to be ready to ride. Like, you know, we got it's That's how
I'll take it back to the writing.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. but to be a good writer, you have to be able to break those stereotypes and break the barrier of being uncomfortable, you know, and being able to write about things like that, because that's truth. It's like when you write a movie about something really, really dark, you got to go to that place. You can't sugarcoat this stuff because there's, you know, it's nothing to sugarcoat. But then you also got to be able to like break it down and have a good time and enjoy like
healthy balance.
Healthy balance.
Let me ask you this. You know, with saying that, I feel like that's really, really important. And, the game as we know it right now has changed. I feel like it's a lot of good music out there, but I think that, a lot of the music that doesn't have as much, feeling into it or have that story in it or whatever, because, that's that type of music is being pushed more out to the front. What has kept you guys grounded to the point to where you like, you know what, we're going to still continue to create that music that people can feel, real life experiences where people can actually, because I feel like, like I said, listening to you guys' music, I hear the stories. I could still hear the pain, whether it's, you guys expressing somebody else's experiences within your music as well. I hear that. So what keeps you guys grounded and not jumping over the line to the other side and just creating just some good vibes, that people could just jam to?
I think it's just in our DNA. I think it's in our DNA. And you know what? I speak for Adrian. We're not impressed by like Lamborghini, Ferrari. If I had the money to buy one, okay. But I'm not impressed.
It's in the driveway right now.
It's in the driveway. Yeah. No, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, we and rap has always been like this, and a lot of hip hop where it's the flashy cars, the clothes, but that doesn't last,
right?
And a lot of the hip hop icons that we see, and even the ones that do floss a lot of stuff, they're putting money in, they're investing in businesses and in a lot of these other things. So I'm not like, that doesn't impress me. I mean, we have family members who would roll up with their nice cars and it's great, but it's not the end all be all. It's for me.
And we just love,
I love being able to tell a real story.
We're storytellers and we want to tell stories. And right now, I think,
sorry, cut you off. I'm just going to say,
of course.
Like when you listen to like Marvin Gaye, What's Going On?
Right.
It was made in the late 60s, I think, early 70s, maybe. I think it was like the
late 60s.
Late 60s?
Yeah, late.
Right? My God, if that's not 2020, 2021,
exactly.
I don't know what is. Right?
Yeah.
So if that's what I want, a car is a material thing. It depreciates off the lot. You do one wrong turn, you smash that back end, you fishtailed that rear end, it's done with. It's gone. But the legacy, not to quote our LP, but the legacy of a song, while we're dead and gone, if that song that we did or that album impacted people to feel a certain way, that's worth more than gold.
Well, we got a message. I'm not going to say the person's name, but we got a really sincere message the other day, a DM, and the woman was saying, you know what? I saw you guys, you did an interview, and I was so touched with the way you guys spoke. And then listening to your song Legacy, I go back to that interview and I listen to the song and it gives me hope and inspiration. I said to Luke, I said, Jesus, that made our day. That we touched, because when we all deal with our internal battles, whether it's mental battles, whether it's, oh God, this bill came in, or that, like this morning we woke up, the fridge wasn't working. My wife got the phone, the guy, COVID. Do you want someone coming in your house?
What happens when you eat too much?
Yeah,
Fridge don't work.
Exactly. But you know what I'm saying? But we all have our internal battles, but at the end of the day, we want our music to inspire people.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to look ourselves. We want to go to sleep at night and say, like, we could look ourselves in the mirror in the morning and say, okay, we haven't sacrificed our integrity. Like, imagine now if my brother and I are talking about popping Molly and drinking lean, we're going to look like the two biggest bozos on planet Earth. That's not to say that we might do a song with a 20-year-old or a 17-year-old this year or next year, and that's his reality. But, a lot of guys in their young teens, early 20s, right now, they might not be thinking of the future. Not many people. We've always been guys who've always we've always been, I think, old souls where, like, we probably in another life came from another era. Like I always say, I'm probably from the Harlem Renaissance, was sitting there in a cafe watching Langston Hughes say his Dreams poem, while freaking Louis Armstrong was playing on his trumpet.
I was definitely playing
playing bass in a funk band in the 60s.
Right.
Remote souls, man. So I think that's just it. It's just like we feel like that's our calling to tell stories and have some fun songs.
And I do think it's changing. Like I do think when you look at the Grammys this year and the nominations for hip hop, a lot of conscious, I don't want to use the word conscious rap, but a lot of like MCs are in that category.
Very lyrical.
Royce, you know, there's a lot of lyrical titans that are in that category. And I think it's changing because I think, listen, we all love those turn up records, you know, those records that you just, but we also want the record.
We want some substance too, though.
You want some substance, not every record.
But even like Big Pimpin', you know, was the turn up record. But there was a witticism in the turn up. Like when Jay-Z, like, on a canopy, my stamina be enough for Pamela Anderson Lee. Like, look at the way soliloquy. He really thought about that. He just wasn't going skirt. Yeah, you know. So
man, I love y'all, man. I can't wait to hang out with y'all, man. I already know. Like,
that's a must.
As soon as it lift up, man, we bringing the cameras out, man.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely coming. Look, I want to ask y'all this, man. Like, you know, and give me your honest opinion, which I know you guys are brutally honest, man. What do you guys like about the game, and what do you don't like about the game right now?
Well, you want to go first? Yeah, I'll go first than you, if you don't mind. What I like about the game is that, you know, it's a blessing and a curse because there's so many platforms, and these platforms didn't exist. Social media wasn't around when we were kids. We didn't have like 20 places where we could put our music. So if someone doesn't have Spotify, they might listen to it on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Tidal, Deezer, blah, blah, blah. So that's what we really love about it, that it gives us the opportunity. Look, you know, there's a pandemic right now. We can't be in your city. You can't be in ours, but look how we've connected. Now we're friends. This is a friendship for life. And when the doors of the world, when the world does heal, we are going to break bread face to face in person. What I don't like about the game is that I feel many times, and especially in music and especially in rap, is that many times I feel like these young kids are being used to push an agenda, you know, because you know, if you look at, for example, certain platforms, there's more to hip hop culture. There's more to black culture because let's be honest, hip hop started in the black community. If you want to go back and really be an anthropologist and break it down, but if we want to just do the short version, New York in the late 70s, you know, Sedgwick Avenue, DJ Kool Herc, you know, Jamaican, New York DJ. And this and that. And I think there's always been some ignorant hip hop, some turn up hip hop, but there was battle rap, there was crew rap, there was cruising rap, there was intellectual rap, KRS-One. But now we've gone to, it's just, you can't be successful, and young kids can't get it. Like, there's only a couple of J. Cole's and Kendrick Lamar's.
Right, exactly.
But everybody else has to be Little this and Smokey Perp this and this and that. And I think it's just sending the message, especially to young kids and especially young kids of color, for you to make it, you've got to do this. But no, that's not the only option. You know, you could be a J. Cole. You could be a J. Cole and still go to school and get your doctorate and be a Michelle Obama, be an intellectual. You know, like once Royce the 5'9" was made fun of because they're like, yo, he's just a backpack rapper. But why make fun of the guy because he likes to read books? No, he's inspiring young kids that look like him and that don't look like him to be intelligent. I think intelligence, that's the agenda that should be being pushed, not just the agenda of, okay, let's make money off these kids. I don't give a shit if they die of an overdose or if they get killed in some street beef. It should be, you want to mentor these kids, not just make money off them and like, he died, okay, let's find the next kid that sounds like him. No, it's these older heads and record executives specifically that should be mentoring these kids, teach them about investment. It's great to have a Ferrari, but you know what? If you're getting that Ferrari, but you don't have a house at the end of the day, and you're paying $20,000 a month, renting some big ass house in the Hollywood Hills, shit, that money might blow because if you've got all, and then so it's just like educate the youth Educate these young kids that you're signing to invest their money so that they will be good. Even if they make an ignorant record, if that's their way of making money, we're not going to fault them. But don't let them lose everything within a year and kick them to the curb, because you need to educate, because you want these kids to then take the flag and then educate the next. But if you're not educating them, they're not going to educate the next kid. And that's what I love about what Jay-Z is doing with Rock Nation. There's an education there. There's Black excellence. You know what P. Diddy is. You know, whether you like that or what people are, like, whether you like their music or not, you've got to just appreciate and love that stewardship and ambassadorship to educate, you know, to educate the next generation, to not just be rappers, but to be businessmen and women and entrepreneurs. And I love Jay-Z and Diddy and Khaled and Fat Joe and all those cats for doing that stuff. That's important.
I like Fat Joe's new record. Woo!
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it took the Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
Listen, you can't go wrong with the Luther Vandross sample.
Nah. I would like to know how you feel like.
I feel like I love that music now. You know, you could, like, we could, you know, after this, put out, you know, record a song, mix it, master it, get it all done, and within a week have it out, or have it out tomorrow, you know, on SoundCloud. Like, you'd have to wait maybe a week or so on the platforms, but you could put it out. You know, I think that's the cool thing. That's a great thing about it. Great thing about social media is, like, even through the pandemic, you know, obviously, you know, it's a terrible thing, and we're all hoping we get over it and be safe. But the silver lining was we were able to connect with people, artists and MCs and even actors and things, and connect with people that we might have not been able to before, because everybody's kind of on their you know, their phones and their social media stuff. So that's the great thing about what's happening or it's what's happened in music. I think the negative side of it is that we really do praise mediocrity sometimes, and you know, it's not me being, you know, I'm been around and you know, just because I play, you know, I did jazz and I did, you know, playing. I'm like my main instrument is piano, and I play. That's my thing. You got to work your craft, you know. Right. If you're gonna be an artist, if you're gonna be a singer, turn off the auto tune and learn how to be on key.
Well, everybody wants the elevator to success, but it's a staircase, man.
You gotta, yeah. So
it's a staircase.
That's the part that I don't like, is that, you know, I'm a master of all the software. I mean, I that's what I use, but you gotta learn how to take away all that stuff. You know, take away the Fruity Loops that allows you to you dot your chords in, and I put my and right. Not do anything. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to do anything, man. When you look at real producers like Dre and Just Blaze and Timberland and Swiss Beats and
the
Neptunes, like, man,
Masters,
boom, boom. They were like, you know, like, you got
shout out to Katrina.
Yes,
Katrina just said hello. Thank you to Kick Up Your Heels Entertainment for connecting the dots, man, with the Vibe Show.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta work on your craft. And I think the one thing about hip hop that I don't like, I've always said this, and I want to say it. And a lot of hip hop. Shout out to King Crooked, LBC legend, and he said it too. Hip hop is the only genre that the new generation shits on the old.
Right.
And you gotta salute the OGs that allowed you to eat at the same table. You know, if a young rock band right now had the opportunity to work with the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin,
Beatles,
the Beatles, of you know, it would be, you know, Metallica, Pearl Jam. They'd be like, oh my God, I've died and gone to heaven.
That's rock royalty.
Right, yeah. You know, reggaeton artists, if they get an opportunity to work with the legends of their trade, it's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? If they could work with Celia Cruz if she was still alive, or Tito Puente, it'd be like, are you kidding me? Hip hop is the only one. Nah, man. Eminem, yo, man, Tupac was boring. Excuse me?
Right.
Tupac was the reason why, you know, Bone Thugs are the reason why people fast rap. one of the biggest groups that when you heard them, you're going, what is this? It's 99, you know. Oh, so
first of the month,
right?
Get up.
That's the one thing that not, and I'm not going to generalize because it's not the entire younger generation, but a lot of these guys that don't have that respect. And when I go back to the money thing, when that shit's gone, what do you have?
Right.
What do you have to show for it? One hit where everybody did a TikTok dance for a minute, and then they're off to the next 15 minutes of fame. Create a legacy for yourself.
Let me ask you this, man. Now, you know, you guys have worked with so many different amazing artists in this game. You know what I mean? I mean, to name a few, you know, rest in peace to Fred the Godson. You guys work with Bishop Lamont, Crazy Bone, Ali Vegas, Conway the Machine, Jadakiss, Coogee Rap, Peter Jackson, and, you know, Bone Crusher. Like, you know, with working with, you know, established artists that's been in the game for a minute, and to garner that respect, you know, with these guys or whatever, because I know, like, with these guys, it's more of a respect thing when you get, you know, on the inside and you garner that respect. It's not really too much about the money, because, you know, you guys all love the craft aspect of it. You know what I mean? So can we talk about real quickly about what those experiences was like working with these type of artists in the game?
Yeah, but I think Bone Crusher, out of all those artists, Bone Crusher is someone who we're extremely close with. Like, we could phone him right now and he'd go, "What up, Pippin? Reza." Our last name's Reza, so he'd go, "Reza." And we've got new music coming out with him this year. Yeah. He slept at our houses. You know, we've been at his crib. So I think with him, man, just hearing him, like, first of all, we've got the same work ethic and we have the same vibe in the studio. That's why we always got along with Bone and still do to this day, because we're like a lot of people when they're in the studio, they're introverts. You know, they'll hear a beat and do this,
writing on the phone,
like, quietly. But we're like, yo, we get up, like, Luke plays it, and I'm like, yo, man, I think I should do Matt. Bone Crusher's the same. And then it's like when we're in the studio with Bone, it's just like, yo, run that, Luke, run the beat. And we go in there and, like, even a lot of the stuff on Legacy, a lot of that stuff was like freestyle. Lucas played the beat and I went in and I'm like, yo, and then we just refined it. Or he sent me a beat. I'm in the car, like, I'm doing a voice note and, like, Luke, and I didn't even write it down. It's a voice note. Yeah. So Bone works like that.
Bone works like that.
But then all the stories, like when we work with Clyde Walter Orange of the Commodores, I mean,
wow.
You know, like, and just the stories, but like just the fun things too, like the stories. Swifty McVeigh is another homie who.
That's a cool. That's such a cool story, because we met Swifty through Obi when we did the Obi Trice Battle Cry record, and then we did a song called.
It's the first single on his third album called Bottoms Up.
And then we did a song for Swifty featuring Obi and ourselves for a movie that Swifty was in called Devil's Night, the Non Rouge, and we went down to Detroit in November. This was the November before the next. 2019, before the world went to the dumps, and we talked to Swifty, and we were like, man, I think we could do a dope project together. The three of us were talking about it, and it was kind of just talk, and then all of a sudden, in the beginning of quarantine, around probably April, May, we were like, you know what, let's. Swifty's like, I got home equipment now, so because we can't go to studios. I got my stuff. I know how to record this shit. He actually does a phenomenal job on recording his vocals, like clean.
Wow.
Really, for me, being again mixing the stuff, it's like it's so easy to fly.
Shout out to our brother McVeigh and the D and the 313 Detroit.
And we laughed because it was like we put out last year's joint record. We actually got part 2 coming out this year, and we did it all. We call it the quarantine sessions. Like literally, he'd be like, "You got mail," at 3:30 in the morning, and I'd be lying in bed and I wake up and go like, I gotta go download it.
But there's stuff that we learned about working with him.
Yeah,
like we've kicked it in person. I've done show. Yeah. Well, one show,
and we do a lot of Zoom calls, and we laugh.
But we're like, yo, but he'll send a verse. And we're like, yo, Swifty, we didn't know that about your like. like about your life, or like
he's underrated. I'm gonna say Swifty in D12, you know, because obviously with Eminem being the Eminem,
right?
He
incredible lyricist and storyteller.
Incredible. His story is so deep, but like you were saying, you know, working with some of these guys, it gets us inspired to create. And even not so much go outside the box on some of these things.
Well, like Levi Little, like years, and we're still friends with Levi. Levi Little
from Blackstreet.
From Blackstreet. He's the one singing, "She's giving me joy." So that's his voice. So I was just talking.
Jam right there, man.
Oh man, what a jam! So imagine we're in Levi's studio in Virginia in his house. He's singing it live. My brother and I, like, we became groupies at that point. But no, but he's telling us stories in the heyday because they were all signed to Interscope. He's
right.
Like, and Levi's got a raspy voice like that. Yo, brothers, man. He's like, I remember once when we were with him, he's like, yo, man, if they seen us in my BMW, 2 Italians and 1 black guy in Jersey, where I'm from, they would think we're 3 drug dealers, man, doing a deal or something, yelling the mafia and some shit. He would tell us stories about Teddy Riley, tell us stories about Nate Dogg. He's like, yo, man, I show up to the studio, it's the Dog Pound Nate Dogg. And he goes, they were really about that life. They got like pit bulls and Rottweilers. And like me and Chauncey are just like, yo, we got this idea. And they're like, he goes, shit, man. He goes, and he goes, I grew up in New Jersey. Like, it wasn't like I didn't grow up in like the Shay Loretts. He goes, I grew up tough too, but he goes, shit, you're working with those guys. The shit that they say in those records, it was like that in the studio. You were like this.
But even he did the backing for all the Bobby Brown stuff. I gotta get away. Levi did all the background vocals. I didn't know
stories,
that. All the stories. Yeah, so it's, you know, that's what we miss.
Him telling the stories about Whitney Houston, R.I.P. to the legend, Queen Whitney. But
like that's what we miss, you know, and looking forward to in the world, on top of many other things.
They're just fun stories.
Meeting up with people, like people that we haven't connected with.
I got to say this story. I love it, man. So Clyde Walter Orange from the Commodores, you know, he told us how he made the song Brick House, and the record label.
Oh man, you got to give me that story.
Okay, I'll tell the story for him.
Incredible story.
Yeah. They were in the studio. So a lot of the records, once Michael Jackson came around, there was a lot of leeway, you know, because Berry Gordy was like so focused on Michael that, you know, Motown had that machine, no politics, it's always and everything was like happy, right?
Yeah.
He asked, sorry, which one of y'all is more creative than the other? I'm more creative.
Yeah.
No,
I'm more handsome. You know what? Equally. Shout out to Vibe Show Casper. I think we're equally creative. It's just like we're almost like the Transformers or Voltron. We bring different elements to the game and different instincts and adaptation, like an animal in the jungle. Right. Certain things come in at, like, sometimes my claws and fangs come out, but sometimes I'm laid back. Yeah. Sometimes Lucas has to so our different superpowers kick in at different times.
But the story, you know, and hearing these personal stories was so dope. So they had done the record, and it was going to be an instrumental. And nobody wanted it to be, they didn't want any vocals on the track.
Right.
And Clyde said, okay, that's fine. So he paid for an engineer.
She's a female
engineer that weekend.
Which was unheard of back then.
Yeah.
A female engineer.
Yeah, he paid for her to engineer him. He went in the studio on his own, like secretly kind of went in and sang Brick House, because everything at that point was Lionel Richie singing. Right. Even though Clyde was equal singer and equal writer with Lionel. Lionel was basically the front man, like the vocals. But he, you know, they all came back in the session on Monday, and all of a sudden you hear this, you know, change that brick, gonna house, and they went, what is this? And he's like, right. This is what I told you about. Next thing you know, was the next single, and
he told us, man, like Berry Gordy or the label at that time, I can't remember if it was Berry Gordy at that point. It was Berry Gordy. But said to them, they both said to both him and Lionel, we think both of y'all can have solo careers, and obviously Lionel went with it. But Clyde is like, yo, there's more factors more than myself here. What about the band? What about like the players? But then the other band members, like the other fellas singing. But then
the Commodores were.
Then everyone is out of a job. So we go, yo, man, this is bigger than just us wanting to be. So you got to respect that. Like when we heard that from Clyde, we're like, yo, how many guys who, you know, had women throwing themselves at their feet, making money in their prime, can't go anywhere, wine and dine, limousine driving, private jet flying, and then like this guy's thinking of the drummer or the trumpet player or the guy who's playing the cowbells. Family, not too many people are like that. And so we come from that cloth. We respected that, and then we're like, yo, this makes us love Uncle Clyde even more.
Yeah. We have a song that will hopefully come out this year featuring Clyde. And I can't give it away. Maybe off when we shut the record button off, we'll give you a little, little blurb about it, but because it has to be kept under wraps until we can really finish it up. Yeah. But man, if it comes out, man, I'm super excited.
Listen, man, we got to get y'all back on here, man. I hate that we out of time because we got
big mouths, man. We can't stop.
We gotta. This has been amazing. I want allow you guys an opportunity to give some shout outs and give anybody that y'all want to give their roses to right now. Go ahead on and shout them out and let us know about anything else that we can look forward to that you guys got in the making.
Yeah. A big shout out to our partner, Will Van Zyl, Nova Music Group. He's our partner in Gladiator as well. Him and his wife, Joanna. Big shout out to Katrina and Rachel.
Kick Up Your Heels Entertainment.
Yes. Shout out to our families, and just shout out to everybody.
To our wives, our parents, and our kids for dealing with us. And
what's to come is some cool tracks. We got at the end of the month, we got a new single coming out with John Connor. Another Michigan legend, and John was signed with Dre at Aftermath. You can hear, we'll
send you the record.
It's incredible.
Please.
It's incredible when you hear this record. What Adrian's doing
and John Connor doing that double time rap. Woo! But man, shout out to the young homie RX. We got an EP with him. He's out from the Bay. RX the rapper. And that's going to be coming out soon as well in the spring. It's called Life After Life. We got Chino XL on that, San Quinn, and then Numps. So we got a couple of Bay legends with San Quinn on there. Then Swifty McVeigh, our brother, at 25. With all the interludes, there's like 25 joints.
Yeah, something like that.
Graph
single, Slain, and
Sizzla,
and then we have some stuff cooking with King Crooked,
Bone Crusher.
There's a lot of, and then you know what? The great thing about it is there's so much more that we haven't even thought of it. But I know it's
absolutely. Look, y'all, you go and let's go on and put the social platforms out there in ways that people can connect with you. Website. I don't know if you guys got merch or whatever. Anything y'all want to plug in? Let's go on and plug it up right now.
Yeah, we do. I mean, you reach us at 80 Empire on Instagram, Twitter at 80 Empire _ and
Facebook 80 Empire.
Facebook as well. And we have our merch line, Gladiator.
Gladiator apparel.
Show it. Bring it up. There we go. There we go.
Yes, sir. I need to give one down. I need that.
Yeah. We got hoodies. We got T-shirts. We got masks. We got hats. We got toques. So So that's we're just trying to keep busy and keep plugging, keep pushing.
And look, before we get out of here too, can you guys touch on how COVID has affected y'all personally? If you can kind of give me a short version of how it affected y'all personally, and what have you guys been doing to keep the brand alive, not being able to really move around like that?
Yeah. I think with us just really using social media, obviously we can't travel. We could, but we're afraid to travel. A couple of people said, come do a music video, but we're like, we can't go. And then what if we get sick and then bring it in to the family? We got older parents who live very close there within our bubble. So we're just hustling, man. We're right now, this is like parking lot pimping within our house.
Did he say
parking lot pimping in the living room, family room, and studio?
Yeah, I think it was
This is what things said. two Harlem legends. First of all, Diddy said, if you didn't hustle, if 2020 didn't bring out the hustle in you, you'll never hustle. So we definitely hustled. And then Jim Jones from Dipset said, yo, man, like a hustler hustles in the drought. That's when you hustle the best. So I think 2020, despite all the hardships and people losing of lives and people losing jobs, for us, we were like, yo, man, this is Noah's Ark. We got to get in that. We know the storm is here. Let's build that ark and let's weather the storm. Yeah. We got this, man. We just got to keep that mask on, keep moving and keep moving, man.
Keep moving. And rest in peace, Fred the Godson. Yeah. Shout out to his brother Russ, who we've actually really connected with since, from Fred's passing, as I think will lead to more music with Fred and his legacy. Word on, but that's
R.I.P. to Fred, man. That's Fred's got a new record out right now. Ali, produced by the Heatmakers. It's a banging record.
But that's where where when people think this doesn't exist, Fred was under 40 years old, man, and that hit him, and he left a beautiful wife and 2 girls. So that's where when people think this is fake, it's like, it's not, man. People are losing loved ones. If I real quick, I say it's like when your kid gets hurt and they need stitches, but you keep putting on a Band-Aid. The Band-Aid's not stopping the problem. Right. If everybody just do their part, lay low for a minute. Be like New Zealand. Right now, New Zealand's doing this.
Right.
New Zealand's doing this because they really locked this down. They knew like we had.
It is what it is. It sucks. Do we completely know the full story? No, we don't. But it sucks. We just have to roll with it.
Let's roll with it.
And the more that we try to make up all of these elaborate stories, the only thing we're all getting upset. So I think if we all do our due diligence, within certain degrees, like people have to get out and hustle and have to work.
They got to work. Yeah.
But
wear the
try
mask.
to be
just wear the mask.
Wear the mask. This too shall pass. There's been plagues and the Spanish flu in history, and we've gotten through it. We just have to. We can't be impatient. Really quickly, like
nothing's a short story.
I gotta say, it's that Bible story. If we believe in that stuff, there's that Bible story where one of Abraham's descendants, James, I don't know the guy's name, but they're in Sodom and Gomorrah, and God comes to him and says, "Yo, you got to do one thing. Don't look back." And it's the one thing. They're gonna burn down the city. The shit's gonna explode, but don't look back. What did the kids and the wife look back? And so this is all we gotta just don't look back. Just don't look back. Like, just wear the mask. Go about your business. But we're not gonna wear a mask.
But forever. You can take it back to that.
Hey, look, one more look before we get out into. Can we get the Motown? How they was doing it in Motown? What was how they was doing it? Oh, I love when you did that. You
Top show 97.
Yeah.
Now.
Hey, look.
Y'all had a good time. We on the show, and baby, yeah, it's a vibe.
Yes, sir. Say, man, I love y'all, man. I ain't gonna lie. Listen, you too, brother. I ain't gonna lie, man. This was amazing. And let's close out with I'll allow you, both of you guys to close out with some words of uplift for anybody, man, who may be low in spirit right now. I know y'all been dropping gems the whole way. I like to close with some closing remarks from each one of you guys, just some words of motivation for anybody who may be low in spirit and needs some uplift.
Yeah, I think, keep on dreaming. Langston Hughes had a poem called Dreams, and he talks about if our dreams die, I don't know the exact quote, but if dreams die, it's like the broken wing of a bird, then a bird can't fly. So if your dreams die, it's like the broken wing of a bird that cannot fly. So keep dreaming, because if we dream, manifest those dreams into reality, people, and we will get through. This too shall pass. Sometimes we have to go through struggle and pain to get to the next chapter of life, or where God or whoever, whatever we believe in, has intended for us. So keep the faith. We'll get through this, man.
Yeah. And for me, it's the biggest risk to me in life is not taking the risk. Take the risk, because the worst thing that could happen from the risk is saying, I I tried. I did. I took a chance. I might have failed, but I took the chance. You know, don't be 5 years from now going, man, I wish I would have taken that trip. I wish I would have taken that job. I wish I would have put out that album. Wish I would have put out that painting and took my art and put out paintings for the world to see. Take that risk, man. Don't let it pass you by.
Absolutely, man. Listen, Legacy right now featuring Conway the Machine and Balistic, man, available now. That video is available right now. Super dope music. If that's what you guys are looking for, y'all looking for that organic dope music, man, lyrics, y'all need to make sure that y'all go and check out that new song and new Legacy. The video is available. That's on YouTube. It's definitely dope. Y'all go check it out. Y'all make sure that y'all get connected with 80 Empire. Listen, we got to get you guys back on here again.
Definitely.
For me and the Vibe team, man, we just want to wish y'all more blessings and more success with everything that y'all doing right now and everything that y'all going to be doing in the future. We got to get y'all back on here again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
love to.
likewise. Likewise, man. You got a friend for life now, man. We got your back. Anything you need from us, we got you.
Absolutely. It's the Vibe Show 97.9 with my special guest, the one and only 80 Empire. Yeah. We out. That was my special guest, the one and only 80 Empire. Y'all make sure that y'all go and follow them right now on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. 80 Empire, they kept it simple for us, man. They didn't come up with the complicated handles, man. 80 Empire's easy. Y'all make sure that y'all go show my brothers some mad love. Right now, y'all make sure if you were vibing and feeling this exclusive interview with 80 Empire, y'all make sure that y'all subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications for more exclusive interviews coming up in the future. Also, make sure that you log on today to our exclusive radio station website. You can hear that Legacy right now in heavy rotation. Log on at www.thevibeshow979.net. Also, get connected, man. Rush over to the mobile store and download that Vibe Show 97.9 exclusive mobile app available in the Google App Store. Or you can just say, Alexa, turn on the Vibe Show 97.9. I'm pretty sure we're going to pop up. Listen, man, I love y'all. For cash donations or any donations or whatever, man, hit us up on the Cash App at the Vibe Show 979. Well, 979 altogether if you're feeling generous or whatever. I get it. Listen, y'all make sure that if you got to go out, like the guy said, 80 Empire said, y'all make sure y'all put that mask on. This too shall pass. I love y'all. It's the Vibe Show 97.9. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. I'm out.